And now I'm gonna show you a short presentation about the places and location. This is, again, probably more detail that you will need, if not ever, then for now. But it does help to have everything that you might need at some point. So places and locations, and you can have the need to designate a specific place or location in several places in your XML document. So we'll probably pass through them all. There are the following types of locations, broadly speaking. The original location, the find spot of the monument, the modern find spot, a modern location, or a last recorded location if the monument has disappeared, or if its modern location is different from its find spot. Repository in a museum, which can still be different from the find spot and different from any other location when the monument could be observed. And last but not least, places which are not places referring to or pertaining to the place of the physical monument, but other places which might be mentioned in the text. So these are places in the text, and the other things are places which are found sometimes outside the text and refer to the monument and pertain to monument's metadata. So once again, as you saw in history, you have auric place. In this thing, this is a place of origin inside a more general location. You can have this also, because we have different projects that have different spans. Projects such as the inscriptions of Aphrodisias, which is a corpus of one particular city, or inscriptions of Roman Cyrenaica or Greek Cyrenaica. These all are inscriptions which deal with different places in the context of one and the same ancient site. So in auric place, in this case, and in some cases, this is accompanied by a site map on the website of these corpora. It could be a particular place in the context of an ancient archaeological site, such as this, the Caesareum, the Caesareum, where it was found, and you have the auric date, and you have the provenance, which here is presented as running text. There are obviously two pieces, two blocks, two parts of one and the same epigraphic monument, and it is described how exactly, in what circumstances exactly they were found and reused after that. There is actually even a third block as far as I can see, and their current whereabouts are also different. One piece of the monument is now at the museum, and other pieces which were found in different times, one found before 1941, this is before the Italian invasion of the region, and C and D found in the post-war decades. They are in their respective find spots. So you can have complex cases like this, but the good thing is that everything which should be stored under provenance, I'm reminding you, can be described as a running text if it's too complicated to formalize everything with tags. Yes, you can have a reference to an internal authority list, which we will see tomorrow. Probably we will create our own authority lists, or we will use existing authority lists to link to them in our documents. So you can have here and in other places also attribute which reads ref, which stands for reference, and a ref can refer to an external or internal authority. Yes, and the thing that we said about the distinction between two types of provenances, provenance type found, which is the modern find spot, and provenance type observed. You can, as you can see here, this key attribute is something which nowadays it's deprecated, so we won't use key almost anywhere. But your reference could be to an external source. We also see this this one tomorrow. But yes, the point of all this is that the reference can be to an internal or an external list of places. And you can have also the inside this running text. Here you see also the reference string, which refers to here in this case the monument from Cyrenaica, the place name with a reference to an external gazetteer, an external authority, lists to the ancient polis of Kyrene, while the internal reference, which is done with this reference string thing, it refers to an internal authority which describes in more detail the exact places in the context of the ancient find spot. But as you can see here, you can also nothing stops you from also creating within this description in running text, annotating dates which refer to the dates of the finding of the monument inside the text with date with attribute type found. If you think that this will be relevant for your collection, once again, a useful exercise is to think if you want to classify or to filter or to index different types of inscriptions by the dates of their finding. If not, this information could be deemed redundant. But then again, you might want to give this redundant information in the raw text, raw XML data, even if you don't intend on visualizing it. The thing is, as with all the descriptions of data and metadata in XML format, as we discussed yesterday, the thing is, when do you decide to stop? Because there is a way to include almost anything. And if we deal with different pieces of a monument which were found, which were found in different time and stored in different places, provenance type found, as well as the other one, provenance type observed, could be repeated within the mother history element, the parent history element, as many times as you need. So if you have segments A, B, C, and D of one and the same monument, you can repeat, you can copy paste this provenance type found element and then refer to the different parts of the monument. So this, for example, is provenance type found, referring to number 1 or number A of our several fragments. and then you have number B, etc., etc. Hope this is clear. And you can have also provenance type found is where fragments A and B were found, but you can have also provenance type observed, which is the find spot where, not the find spot, but the spot where these fragments of one and the same monument could be observed last, which could be their current location, as I told you. And you can distinguish between what is in the museum and what isn't in the museum. You can preserve provenance type observed for something like our fragment B of an inscription in this case, which should be observed in its find spot, and the fragment type A, you can you can state here that currently fragment A is in the museum, but you can also state this information when you fill in the museum and repository number, which is under MS identifier. What else do we have here? Yes, you can also refer to the institution of the museum either here or in the MS identifier with an internal or an external reference. Probably it is a good idea if you're working with museums and if you're collaborating with museums and your source of information comes from museums, which is in some cases that is indispensable. If you want to have the exact inventory number, current inventory number in a museum repository, you have to get this information from the respective museum that stores the inscription. Otherwise, it probably could be indicated in some previously printed corpora, but this information might be obsolete. I know for sure that in the Inscriptiones Graecae by Georgi Mikhailov, inventory numbers of museums were given, but in many cases these are inventory books that date from decades ago, and most of this information is now obsolete. So bottom line, it is good when you're collaborating with the museum to give, whenever you're quoting the museum as a modern location of a monument or a modern repository where a monument is stored, to give a reference to the museum website. This is a good way of giving credit to the museum, and a good way of also giving some popularity to the website of the respective museum if you point to it in your collection. So yes, here we have the same information enriched with new reference string on every step, so you can have as detailed information as you wish. You can give with this reference strings exact information about different places and spots within one and the same archaeological site or a museum. And in these external or internal authorities that you want to link your data to, as we will see tomorrow, you can also have an exact geographical reference. I mean, geographical coordinates, longitude and latitude, which are more or less exact. So you can give coordinates if you wish here. In this case, in the Cyrenaica inscriptions, this refers to an external XML file which is called monulist, list of monuments, and the exact spots of the current location of the monuments are given in this monulist with their exact coordinates. So you can do this, you can do reference. As I told you before, in MS Desk, under MS Identifier, which is the first daughter element in MS Desk, you can also have exact repository and repository number, which is another way to point to a location which is linked to some GLAM institutions such as museum, archive, in this case, national preserve. You can have archaeological preserves, as in the case of Tauric Chersonesus, and different things like this. Usually, in the case of inscriptions which are found in museums, we deal with them primordially in this way. And in provenance type observed, we may indicate that this is now in the museum, but it is more useful to indicate something that is in situ or somewhere outside the museum. You can also have, in the different provenances that you're listing, if you have observed ex autopsia your monument, in some cases this is important, you can have a provenance type autopsy. I'm not sure if this works correctly currently with the latest templates, but this is also a possibility to which you can adjust your visualization scenario if it doesn't work for now. Why is this important? Because if you look at the different projects that are trying to cover different areas of the ancient world with where excavations took place at some point, you see, for example, places in Libya, places in Ukraine, and places in different modern regions when there is military conflict, and when there is unfortunately a certain type of uncertainty if these monuments will be ever seen or accessible again. So in the case, for example, of the IOSPE project, which started in 2014 and often had to deal with find spots and places of provenance which were engaged in modern times with the conflict between Ukraine and Russia in the Donetsk region, not to speak about the find spots in post-Gaddafi Libya. You might want to have this provenance type autopsy to indicate the different occasions. You see here with date and attribute type when, probably with year and month, and you can also put as a last two digits the exact date if you know it. Sometimes in cases like this, when you have some sort of, let's say, rescue digitization of cultural heritage that might be lost at some point, you might want to also designate all the occasions where the respective monument was last seen ex autopsia. As you can see, this is part of the metadata for an inscription which was the last 3 times in which it was seen was 1991, 1999, 2001, and 2002. But you can also do this in provenance type observed. This you might use specifically in the case when you want to stress that you have seen this ex autopsia and preserve the provenance type observed from some previous instances, for example, some historical instances, as it usually happens in the context of Balkan cultural heritage, where something was seen by historical visitors or its first publishers, etc., etc. Places mentioned in the text itself. For example, apo Syrias, of course, you use the place name. The place name can refer to, I would strongly recommend to use ref here and not nimref. A place name could use a reference to a place name list when you store as a separate XML file in another folder of your project. We will dedicate a whole session tomorrow morning to how this is done. Or you can refer also to an external authority list, which in the case of geographical names is called gazetteer. And usually the references to a gazetteer also hold standardized, actually, georeference to an exact representative, as they call it, spot. For example, Syria is a province name, and of course, you cannot geolocate the territory of the whole province, but if you want this reference to show somewhere on a map, and it is possible if you have the exact references to particular places to produce maps where these places are shown. You need some sort of representative geographical reference point to which the whole reference to the whole province of Syria will lead. So, any of these locations, be it in provenance type found, in origin provenance type observed, or provenance type autopsy, or places mentioned in the text, or museum and other types of repositories, all of these can be linked to external authorities, to external sites, or to internal list of places and locations, all of which can be referenced with the exact points of okay, this is what you see in a usual list of places. Of course, everything in that list of places is ID'd. So if you have a list of items to which you refer internally or externally, it is crucial that all of your items in this list be different personal names, different places, different attested persons, etc., etc. All of them receive their unique identification number, which in the case of internal references is done with the attribute XML ID, which can be declared only once in the whole of your collection, and every item that you want to ID can have only one unique identifier number, but this is something with which we will deal in the days to come.